Welcome to our practice today. A little bit of movement and ease. We're going to start class today in child's pose. So choosing the position of child's pose that's of most comfort. So as you know, your toes are together, your knees are apart, and the choose of your head resting onto a firm block. And sometimes it's nice just with your fists. And just a point, if it's too much of the compression, you can always place a blanket, or as you see, there's some bolsters which are available to you. So it's sometimes nice if you have a bolster just behind the back of your knees so there's less compression. And then just settle down into child's pose. It's called Balasana. And so as you folding forward, and the distractions around are hidden. Now your eyes are softly closed, but a little bit darker. And just that gentle touching of your toes and the resting of your torso onto your inner thighs. And with your breath, it's a natural traveling of your breath through the front of your body. But as we softly fold into child's pose, draw your breath into the back of your body. And with your in-breath, your shoulder blades slide away. And with your exhale, those muscles, the tightness between the back of your ribs, can just stay soft. Eyes still, but always heart open. And may the sun bring you new energy. And may the moon restore throughout the night. And may the rain wash away your worries. And may the breeze bring you strength in the moment. And may a walk bring in a gentleness throughout the world, and knowing the beauty of each step throughout our life. Together, the sun, which we have, the moon, which we rest, the rain to wash, the breeze to be, and the walk throughout our life. And what brings you here today for us to share together. With your next in-breath, bring yourselves up into table pose. So the verticalness of your arms, the verticalness of your thighs, connecting all 10 pads of your fingers. And then keeping of your eyes closed, the slow warming up of the cat and the cow. So with the in-breath, the ease traveling into your nose, filling the front of your body. And your exhale, the ease. Already have the space between your shoulder blades. Give it more space on your exhale. And that slow moving up. Moving back. And then with your pattern, On the release of your next exhale, bring yourselves back into table pose. Now in table pose, I want you to turn your palms back. So the back of your hands will be on the mat, your fingers pointing towards your knees. And just a very gentle moving forward and back, stretching out the wrists. And then plant your palms down again, all four sides of your palm down onto your mat. And I want you to take your right leg behind you just to stretch the calf. And so your back leg, your right leg is long. And see if you can have the same straightness at the front and the back of your right leg. It's always that encouraging. But I want you to take a gaze down. So just a soft opening of your eyes. And looking directly down, extend your left arm forward. So as you have the connection, the ball of your right foot, your left fingers reach forward. Almost a sense of hugging your thighs in and firing up your extended right leg. Now, you can either keep the ball of your foot down or lift your right leg up to horizontal. And so as you remember, fingers reach forward, your right toes pointing down, and the front of your body to the back of your body. And then explore maybe the closing of your eyes. Now, fullness of your in-breath, completeness of your out-breath. And with your in-breath, lengthen a little more. And on your exhale, elbow and your knee together, so it's the rounding of your back, nose towards your knee. And in-breath, take you back to the lengthening, neutral, and stillness. And then on your exhale, the complete connection. One more lovely in-breath, lengthening and strong. And then the closing completely. And then just place your left hand down your right knee. But I want you to take your right hand and thread it behind your left. So arms thread the needle and your head just to rest. And even a little bit of pumping of your fingers. And then I'll get you to bring yourselves back into table pose. And we'll just change sides with the pattern. So first start left leg back, ball of your foot down, hands still pressing down vertically, or your arms vertical. A little bit of lengthening. So as you're rooting down your back ball of your foot, imagine you can extend your head a little farther forward and then following with the extension of your right arm forward. So it's still working with the balance. Sometimes even a little bit more of a balance. And that one foot is pressing down as your arm is reaching forward. So still have your gaze down and then lift your left leg up. So into this extension. So still the verticalness of your arm, your left arm, verticalness of your right thigh, and extending and lengthening. Full breath in. And on your exhale, take your elbow and your knee together. Squeeze out your breath, opening the back. In breath, lengthen. Out breath, close. Long, horizontal, extended. And then closing. Rounding of your back, squeezing out your full in-breath. And then place your knee down, your right hand down, but take your left hand and thread it under. And just as before, a little bit of pulsing of your hand. And then bring yourselves back into table pose. Now in table pose, I want you to just gently sway your hips side to side. Now in doing so, you can bend your elbows. Just with a little bit of squeezing out the tightness. And then bring yourselves back to center. And tuck your toes under. We're going to take ourselves into a downward facing dog. So flare your fingers as far apart as they are, all four sides down. And then take your sitting bones back towards your heels. So your arms are long and strong. And then looking at your inner arms to ensure that your elbows turn, inner crease of your elbows turns forward. And then very slowly, I want you to lift yourselves up and back into a downward facing dog. And in downward facing dog, go for a little bit of a walk. And actually have a little bit shorter downward facing dog. So your feet a little bit farther forward. And just that movement. So downward facing dog, you're moving the back of your thighs away. But at the same time, your torso towards your thighs. Okay, so it's almost like creating a teepee all together. From here, walk your hands back towards your feet. And as you're folded forward to the back of the mat, holding on to opposite elbows. And a lovely swaying side to side. So keep your knees soft, and I want you to ragdoll up. So your fingers hang, your head is heavy, and just very slowly, breathing into the back of your body. So that slow motion, that slow waking up, beginning of the day. And as you know, the last to lift will be the crown of your head, standing in Tadasana. So your eyes closed, palms turned forward. And your breath. And so the balancing of just onto the soles of your feet with the growing of your legs. And on your exhales, I want you to sigh. So your in-breath brings energy, nutrients, fullness. And to sigh upon your exhale washes away whatever tightness that builds up. And gently open your eyes. I want you to take your left arm, internally rotate it, and take it behind the back. And then in doing so, holding onto your inner arm. Okay. So it's almost like a threading back. And then what I want you to do is take your right ear to your right shoulder. Just to give it a little bit more extension. Now, ensure that your forearm isn't pressing your belly forward, tucking a bit back. There's almost a little bit of resistance, the back of your body to your forearm. And any little adjustments feels right. Find that tight spot. But still standing tall and strong. Tailbones down, heart up. And bring your head back up to center. Unweaving of your arms. And just give your left hand a little shake. And then we'll change sides. So with your right arm, internally rotate, take it behind your back and holding onto your opposite arm. And then just have a little gaze forward, just to make sure that you have your neck is of length. Okay. Your body is straight. And then gravity draws your ear to your opposite shoulder. Just allow your straight left arm just to hang. And then draw your head back up to vertical. Unwind your arms. Give them a little shake, shake. On your next in-breath, lift your arms up to the sky. And I want you to swan dive down. Take your arms out to the side and all the way down. And place your hands onto your thighs. And I want you to just give your thighs a little massage. And then take your hands to your calves, your shins. Oh, it's lovely, just that initial wakening up. And yet taking away any of that tightness. Place your hands now onto your thighs. Now remember, keep your torso long and strong. And on your in-breath, lift up halfway. So your spine is horizontal, shoulder blades back to your hips. And then on your exhale, folding down. You can keep your hands onto your thighs or your shins. Support for your next in-breath, lifting up halfway. And then down. And then choosing the height of your hands to your legs. For your in-breath, half lift. And exhale down right to the mat. Place your hands on your mat and rock yourselves forward into a plank pose. So now with the plank pose, your arms are vertical. Your knees can be down or up. Strength. Turning the inner crease of your elbows forward. Knees down or up. On your next inhale, tilt your weight forward and lower yourselves right down to the mat. Now keep your hands, actually go onto your fingertips and take them out to the side. So we're going to have our fingers like little spiders. Press down firmly on the tops of your feet, directing your shoulder blades together. So your legs are activated, your torso is strong, and with your in-breath, lift yourselves up for a baby cobra. And then down. Bring your palms now back to the side of your ribs. Remember, your forearms are vertical. Legs activated, pressing down. In-breath, lift yourselves up for a baby cobra, perhaps a little bit higher. Use the strength of your arms for the firing of your legs. And then rib by rib, ripple back down. So stay laying as you are, but draw your shoulders up to your ears. Roll them back and down. With your next in-breath, keep your knees down. I want you to shift yourselves forward and up to an upward facing dog. So your arms are vertical, your torso is activated, your knees are down. So you have a couple choices with upward facing dog. You can keep your knees down or lifting them up. Whichever way, I want your legs charged. Take your gaze forward, shoulders back, and then lifting through the whole front of your body. So you're still taking your lower torso back and your shoulders down. And then let's all travel back into child's pose. Now as child's pose, your head rests down, but I want your hands back. So your fingers towards your little toes. Just the movement of your wrists. And loving the weightlessness of your body. Your arms are strong, but now they're at ease. And your spine is long. See if you can direct that breath into each of your vertebrae on the back. Keeping your eyes still. Back into child's pose. It's called Balasana. Walk your hands forward now, and we're going to go side to side. So keep your toes together and long, and I want you to walk your hands over towards the left. Now in doing so, make sure your right sitting bone stays connected to your right heel, and then settle your right hand on top of your left. So as your hands are over to the side, your left hand is onto the mat and slightly pressing down and away, just to give not just the lengthening of the right side of your body, but also the left. And then let's take a stroll over towards the right this time. So it's like a super magnet. Hold your shins down, and that magnet through your sitting bones towards your heels. Body is long, head hangs. And then walk your hands back into center. Take yourselves forward and back into table pose. And we're going to take ourselves right back into downward facing dog. Toes tucked under, sitting bones back, hips lift into the downward facing dog. From here, walk your feet forward to the front of the mat and the gentle rocking side to side. Place your hands now onto your hips and hinge yourselves into standing upright. Arms hang by your side and give them a little shake, shake. And then bring the inner edges of your feet together. So now all created to center. Lift your shoulders up and draw them back and descend down. Allow your fingers to hang long. Close your eyes. Take ourselves into mountain pose, Tadasana. In breath, sweep your arms up high to the sky. And exhale, swan dive down. So hopefully you have your firm blocks within reaching distance. And your firm blocks vertical. With your hands and firm blocks, lift up halfway. On your exhale, fold forward, and then step your right foot back and lower your right knee down. And untuck your toes. So with your hands on your firm blocks, press them down and drawing your torso away from your thighs. We're still into lunge. Oh, dear. So, but I'm going to get you to still have your right leg back, even though you might have changed. We're going to go into rock and roll. So if not already, pick your back knee up, a little hop forward, and then lower your heel down. So as you know, you're lowering your back heel down, you're lifting your toes up. and then forward and back. So as you press your front foot down, pick your back heel up, and just that very gentle movement. But the next time your back heel is rooted down, keep it down and lower your right foot down. Okay, so you have that connection, the soles of both of your feet down. Hands onto your firm blocks at whichever height. And give your head a little shake so it's completely relaxed. And as you guys know, all the little fine details, the top of your left thigh bone plugged into your hip socket. Allow your head to be heavy. Allow it to be drawn down. And perhaps you'll be folding a little farther down or keeping the firm blocks at its highest level. Just find a place that takes you to that lovely sweet edge of really feeling the resistance but without the discomfort. Now just gently bend your front knee and step your back foot forward. Keep your hands on your firm blocks, and I want you to just have another lovely half lift on your in-breath and release on your exhale. And this time step your left foot back, right to the back of the mat, all the way down. And lower your back knee down. Untuck your toes. And as your hands press the firm blocks down, giving yourselves more space. Then tuck your back toes under and pick your back knee up. And then lower down. And this time take your gaze up. Lift your back knee, horizontal and strong. And then lower your back knee down. And just work on more space from your torso and your thigh. So if you've got discomfort onto your knee, you can always untuck your back toes. There's more weight onto your shin. And breathe. So as you're lifting to the crown of your head, your shoulders descend down, your hip flexor, the tightness of your hip flexor is a little longer. And see, even with your in-breath, to breathe into the front of your body and give a little bit of flotation. So it's drawing it up, but your tailbone is almost scooping under. Place your hands now back onto your firm blocks. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee up. And then hop your back foot far enough forward that you can root your heel down. And in doing so, your front toes lift up. And you know the music, forward and back. Ensuring that the whole time your spine stays long. And the movement is just the connection of your soles of your feet. And then when your left heel is down, keep it rooted and place all four sides of your right foot down. And then settle back down into a variation of pigeon pose. Sorry, not pigeon pose, pyramid. We're not at pigeon pose yet. Head is heavy. As you know, your in-breath fills. And even with an exhale, see if you can soften that tight spot through your hamstrings and the back of your calf. And gently bend your front knee now. Pick your back heel up and step forward to the front of the mat. So now, as you're folded forward at the front of the mat, I want you to take your left foot and cross it in front of your right. And perhaps see if you can have the outer edges of your feet together. So now as your legs are crossed, I want you to bend your left knee. So use the firm block so you got sort of a balance onto your right and your left hand, and just enjoy a little bit more opening through the back of your hip. And then let's just change sides. So just take your right foot, cross in front of your left, head heavy, and this time bend your right knee a bit more. That's lovely. It takes the opening more from the top of your hamstrings in towards your hip, your buttocks. And then I want you to unwind. And then take your knees almost for a little bit of a walk. And bending opposite knees. From here, give yourself a little half lift up. And on your exhale, I want you to step your left foot right to the back of the mat. We're going to go into crescent pose. So your knee can be down or up. Place your hands into your front knee and press yourselves down. So we were into this pose before with our hands down. This time your hands are onto your hips. So your thumbs can direct your sitting bones back. Now, arms forward, and I want you to cross your right arm underneath your left and give yourselves a hug. So again, your back knee can be down. And then either just keeping yourselves into a hug or bind your hands into eagle pose, a variation of Garmukhasana. Now, flare your arms out to the side, and we're going to go into warrior two. So lower your back heel down, so you'll now be towards the side of your mat into warrior two. So in doing so, your front toes a little bit more out. And take your hands behind your back and interweave your fingers. Moving your fingers down, shoulder blades together, and then look just towards your front bent knee. Back leg stays powered into Virabhadrasana to warrior two. So both of your legs are really strong, and it's continually just having a little peek down to ensure that your front knee is not collapsing. And then, of course, your back leg is strong. And grow your arms back into a full out and extend into a warrior two. So releasing of your fingers. Now from here, straighten your front leg. We're going to go into triangle pose. So keep your arms long. Extend your front arm forward, placing it down onto your thigh or your calf, and then lifting your other arm up to vertical. So as you know, if it's discomfort with your arm lifted, you can keep your hand onto your lower back or your hip, or lifting up. So even as you're doing so, your right buttocks, scoop them under. Left buttocks, scoop them under. Triangle pose, Trikonasana. Are you breathing? If your arm is up, have a little peek. Make sure that it's vertical. Now, keep your torso as it is, but lift yourselves back up so your arms are horizontal, and turn your toes to the side of the mat. Turn your palms up, lift them to the sky, and hinge yourselves forward and down into a forward V fold. And then, as you know, a little bit of swing. So sometimes if balance is a little bit more challenging, always have your firm blocks within reaching distance. And then eventually stillness. So the outer edges of your feet run parallel with the front and the back of your mat. Your head heavy. Give it a little shake, shake. Bring your feet a little closer together. And just a gentle bending of your knees to place your hands onto your hips and hinge yourselves up. So again, take your feet just a little closer together. We're going to do a side step balance. So I'm going to show you. Arms out to the side. Remember how we had speed skated before? What I want you to do is take your back foot and step it forward towards the front. Feet together. Nice. Lower your arms down and turn to the front of the mat. We're going to do it on the other side. Sweep your arms up high to the sky and then fly down, just as we had before. Hands onto your legs, whichever height. In-breath, lift up halfway. And then down. Step your right foot right to the back of the mat. So your opposite leg back. We're going to be into crescent pose. Option of your knee down. Hands onto your knee. Press your knee down and lift yourselves up for crescent pose. So still the importance of neutralizing of your hip. Your back leg is strong. Beautiful. Arms out to the side, and we're going to cross under. So this time your left underneath your right. Give yourselves a hug. So you're hugging to squeeze everything in. It's almost like you can hug your hips in, and then either staying into hug or bind your hands into eagle pose. You can also take the back of your hands together. Lifting, your fingers are up, your body is lengthening. And then open your arms out to the side, and we're going to go into warrior two on the opposite. So again, a little bit of adjustment to your front knees towards your little toe. Look back to make sure your foot towards the back of the mat. And then take your hands behind your back and interweave them the funny way. So knuckles down, so your chest lifts. Now, are you breathing? Breath in, release out. Slide your fingers apart to take yourselves back into warrior two. Arms are horizontal. Then straighten your front leg. And we're going to tilt down into triangle pose. So your hand, the back of your hand onto either your inner thigh or inner calf. Have a little gaze up to make sure it's vertical. If not, choose whichever variation. And breathe. So the strength, press your feet down. So where you have the weight. By pressing down, it's almost hugging your thighs a little together and taking this time your front buttocks and scooping it under. Bring yourselves up so your arms are horizontal and turn your toes to the side of the mat. And we're just going to fly down into a forward V. I'm going to have to change. All right. And then again, as before, in your V, sway side to side. And then back into stillness. Your head hangs, give it a little shake, shake. Maybe your feet are a little bit farther apart this time. Even sort of slightly tuck your chin in towards your chest to allow that lengthening to cover the whole length of your spine. Nice. Bring yourselves up. Keep your fingers still onto either the blocks or the mat, but take a little step of your feet a little closer together. Then hands onto your hips and hinge yourselves up. So we're going to do as we did before. Foot at the back of the mat is going to be stepping forward towards the front of the mat. So just a little bit of movement for momentum, and then stepping forward to the front of the mat. And then close your eyes. So you have the inner edges of your feet are together, sitting tall or standing tall and strong. Slightly draw your shoulder blades together so your chest is broad, but without squeezing. And then open your eyes. And you'll be standing at the front of the mat for a little shake. So we're going to be lying down or going down onto the mat, but make sure you have your strap with you. So when you go down, we'll be using it for one of our, or a couple of our poses. Fly your arms up to the sky, and I want you to take yourselves right back down into child's pose. So into child's pose, your toes are together, your knees apart. Choose the position of your hands under your head, palms up. Perhaps sometimes that gives a little bit more of the release, or fingers back. Just sort of find the position or the variation of child's pose to bring in the comfort. And then bring yourselves up. And I'm going to get you to bring your legs forward to the front of the mat. And I want you to lie right down onto your mat. Still have the strap with you. And so as you lie down onto your back, draw your knees in towards your chest. For a lovely hug. Rocking side to side. So keep your knees bent, but place your feet down. I want you to place the strap under the ball of your right foot. And then the straightening of your right leg. Now with this one, you have your left knee bent, but I want you to keep it bent and take it about halfway down. Then what I want you to do is reach up towards your toes. So reach as high as you can, place your hands on your strap, and slide back down. And so even though we're lying on the ground, there's that weightlessness. I want you to still ensure that your left hip is drawn closer. So make sure your hips are neutral. Often when we do this, it takes easier to take your leg farther back if your hips aren't neutral. So ensure that they're completely neutral. And then drawing your toes towards your nose. Now, as you know, they're not going to reach, but allow that lengthening. Now, in doing so, take the strap into your left hand and place your right hand onto your right thigh and move it away. So you're giving that ease of the lengthening of your torso. And then either keeping your hand onto your thigh or back down onto your strap, do that lengthening. So the hand onto your thigh allows more ease of the straightness of your lifted leg. So again, choose whichever variation. And so again, just a little checking the back of your skull is down, so your eyes up to the sky, so your front and the back of your neck is long. So easy to do this pose. And again, it's the assistance of your hand to your thigh or not, but just allows that lengthening of the whole back of your leg, but without any weight. No weight onto your lifted leg. So it just allows more ease at the top of your thigh bone, settling into your hip socket. And the lengthening. It's lovely also, the spine is long, so have that lovely posture. And then I'll get you to change sides. So pick your left foot up, right knee down, and foot. So your right knee is bent, but your foot not flat, not completely bent, halfway between the two. And then just notice, is this leg a little tighter than the other or vice versa? But take your hands and reach up. See if you can touch your toes. Place your hands on the strap and then slide down. And then to ensure your leg is straight as before, this time the straps into your right hand, your left hand onto your left thigh. Just to ensure, perhaps there's the bending of the knee, you're allowing to have that lengthening. So the front and the back of your leg is of equal strength and length. And then choosing to either keep your hand moving your thigh away or place both of your hands onto the strap. Just feel, or whichever variation gives a little bit of that opening, but without feeding in the strain. It's always that fine tuning of our poses, our alignment, our strength, and our tightness. How's your breath? Even though you have the stillness of your body, the ease of the opening, make sure you don't forget to breathe. As you know, we breathe by ourselves, but your awareness encourages it to be a little bit fuller. Now we're going to travel from here into thread the needle. So just place your lifted leg, place your ankle onto your opposite knee. So you'll have your left ankle to knee, and then press your bent leg away. And then either using your strap that you have or your hands, take it behind the back of your right leg. So your elbow, your left elbow is always encouraging your left thigh away. Not so much knee, more thigh to give you more space. And again, strap or hands. Or sometimes it's a bit much. You can just have your foot onto a firm block. Or perhaps sometimes it's just plenty keeping your right foot down onto the mat. So just figure out whichever variation allows the opening but without feeling the strain. It's quite a deep one for the hips. So there's the encouragement. You're feeling the opening, but not feeling like you'll fall asleep. Again, another lovely pose. Even just to simply do before you go to sleep at night, just releasing the tightness and enjoying an awareness of the weightlessness on your feet and the ease through your legs from all the active energy throughout your day. Now release your fingers and lift both of your legs up to the sky and just loosen things up. And then keep your knees bent, but place your feet down, and this time just hug your right knee into your chest. And then place your right ankle into your left knee. Move your thigh away so both sides of your torso is long. Again, level, neutral, and then choosing from here. You can keep your foot onto the ground, either having a strap or your fingers interwoven the funny way behind the back of your leg. And so as your elbow is directing your right thigh away, just feel a little bit more tightness through the pose. in any of the poses, but now it's even a little bit easier, not having to work with balance. It's just the sigh, even if it's just a soft sigh on your exhale. This is a time we can have a full in-breath and out-breath as much as you want here in your space, so enjoy it. And then as you're ready, you stay a little bit longer if you want to. Or if you feel the balance, you just lift your legs up to the sky and go for your slow motion walk. Keeping your knees bent, place your feet back down onto your mat. But take your feet to the outer edge of the mat. So the outer edges of your feet are on the outer edge of the mat, arms out to the side. And I want you to take your knees and windshield wipe just a little bit, side to side. Eventually, both of your knees drift towards the left and stay settled. Whichever variation you want with this one, enjoying the opening and lengthening from your front, almost like more of the front of your thigh, around your hip, the side of your body. And you can keep your nose up to the sky or turn your head the opposite direction of your knees. Just make sure that your chin hasn't collapsed in towards your shoulder. So you're still keeping that equal elongation of your neck. As your knees are to the side, make sure your buttocks are staying soft. And let's go back into windshield wiping. And whenever you're ready, knees drawn towards the right and settle towards the right. And one side might be a little bit more open than the other. It's quite deep through the hips, so if you have any challenges or discomfort between your hips, don't go too far. But again, choose your variation. And if you turn your head towards the side before, you do it again on this side. But remember your chin away from your shoulder. And then let's do some windshield wiping. And then we'll go into happy baby. So keep your knees bent, put your feet up to the sky. And then take your arms through your inner knees and hold onto the outer edges of your feet. And then that slow rocking side to side. And then as you're ready, lower your feet down to take yourselves into Shavasana. So you might want to put a blanket over you or not, whichever variation. But just ensuring that as your body is settled onto the mat, your feet are a little farther apart. A little bit movement of your shoulders just to ensure that back surface of your shoulder blades are onto your mat. Neck is long. Even give yourselves a big swallow just to make sure that your throat is open. And then into the stillness. So you have the ease through the whole length of your body onto your mat. There's no weight onto your hands. The back of your arms are settled. The front of your arms are free. Just a soft sealing of your lips with the resting of your tongue. The skin on your face is smooth. And your eyelids close over your eyes to allow the stillness within for Shavasana. Slow movements of your toes and your fingers, but keeping the stillness through the rest of your body. Invite your in-breath a little deeper, but staying slow. And the balance of your exhale, complete and slow. Bend your knees and walk your heels in towards your sitting bones. Scoop your tailbone under, and then just softly roll over onto your right side, drawing of your knees in towards your chest. And keeping your eyes closed, press your left hand down and bring yourselves into sitting upright. Sitting upright in a position of comfort, your legs can be crossed or extended forward. And your hands settle onto your knees. Almost a sense of awakening. Lift your shoulders up to your ears. Slide them back and descend down. And just a soft connection of your palms together, thumbs into heart, and the bowing of your head, bowing to the light within. Ease and opening. And may the sun bring you new energy by day, and the moon restore throughout the night. May the rain wash away your worries, May the breeze blow strength into the being, and may the walk gently through the world and know its beauty all the days with each of your steps. I wish you namaste.